Hello and welcome to tonight's racing action here for Speed Force Racing. We are here for round number 18 of the championship, and we have come to Asia and back and to Japan for tonight's racing action here tonight for Gp2. And I'm James, as always, or Cadwell, and alongside me tonight is You Can Beat Me.
Hello James, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. Really excited for this race. My favorite track on the calendar. So hoping for a lot of fun, and it's raining in Collie.
It is indeed, as you can see right now, everybody who is watching the stream, it's raining. It's intermediate weather. It's going to be intermediates for the 15 drivers who are here tonight. Just to say as well, if you do hear you can beat me, if you don't hear him for a bit and it comes up with a black box on my screen or something, that basically has mean that his internet's gone back down. He's had a bit of troubles with that today, so but we should be fine.
Let's hope for the next 90 minutes we don't get that, but fingers crossed.
Yeah, at least it's only 90 minutes of fun and action for you guys. So before the cars do come out, we're going to give you the rundown of the championship, which is here on my screen. I have got it up to date. Omegs is on 196. Second is Nelly on 173. Then it's Mackett 164 in third. Then it's fourth Morris Pace. Fifth Mansell. X Gamer is sixth. He is. Seventh is Senna. Just going to go to the first car, which was Morris Pace that came out. Eighth is Cassidy. Ninth is Cobalt. 10th is Magna. 11th is Luke Bailey. Quintin is 12th. Nadeem 13th. Calvin Robb 14th. BP 15th. Lord Alum is 16th. MX Limitless 17th. 18th Swabe. 19th James TLH. And JD is in 20th. Your constructors then looks like this. Ferrari leads 273 compared to Williams 264. Then it is 232 for your McLaren. Then it's Renault in 4th, 5th Ferrari, 6th AlphaTauri, 7th Racing Point, 8th Alfa Romeo, 9th Red Bull, and 10th Mercedes. So there we go then. That is your standings right now in the championship. As we take a look at that, there we do. But yeah, as the cars are now out on circuit in this tricky conditions.
Yeah, and the first man on the track, or rather out of the pits, is Morris Pace, our race winner from last week in Russia. So Haas boys have their work cut out because they are battling Mercedes, I believe, or rather Williams in the Constructors' Championship. Very little to choose from between the two of them, just 9 points if I'm not wrong at the top. So both of them, Morris as well as Mansell, will be looking for a good result here, because Omegs is, I don't think he has a teammate here tonight, so he has to carry the flag for Williams on his own and also worry about his own championship, where he has a healthy lead of more than 30 points.
He does indeed, and you are correct. It is 9 points separates them and Williams, and then from 264 all the way down to 232, which is still McLaren still can snatch it as well. Then it's 217 as we said for Renault and Ferrari, and I would say that they are pretty much out of contention now for the championship. They still can, so it's still, in my eyes, a 5-horse race for the championship win in constructors, which is nice to see. But as we head now, the cars do around the circuit. First, as we said, is Morris Pace, and he's just finishing his lap off. But what is it about this circuit then that you like?
I guess the first sector itself is something which I absolutely enjoy. The SS and the undulation which is there, the change in how do I say, the track, one in terms of the altitude and such. The second is there is a little bit of a slopes here and there, and I guess the whole track really, I really don't know what is it about this track. I can't really put my finger on it, but it is one track which I absolutely love, and if I have to name a favorite track on the calendar, it's definitely Japan. Let's see. Oh, Morris gets a little bit twitchy coming out of the final corner. That is expected in these tricky conditions, but I think, James, these guys will be going on consecutive runs here, as we often see in intermediate or wet conditions. That they fuel up their car. It's not just one hot lap they are targeting. They also want to get comfortable with the situation and with the track conditions. So as James goes faster now with a 138.1. So I think we had intermediate quali as well, James, in GP4 on Monday. While I don't think it was as wet as you see right now, but the pole was in 137s, I believe, and I'm pretty sure we are probably going to see a faster time than that here today for GP2.
Well, we are, because the 137.3 from Omegs, there it is. But yeah, as you say, drivers will fuel their car up. Instead of normally going for like 3 or 4 laps that they normally fuel up for, they'll probably fuel it for about 6 or 7 laps and come out and do a couple of laps and then come in. So it's going to be very interesting to actually see what does happen around here. As you can see right now, we have loads of cars on circuit. Magna is on circuit. We also have, here he comes Luke Bailey, 138.4 crosses the line there and goes P number 9. Let's P4 there, sorry. Let's see who else is on a lap, who's about to cross the line. Cassidy's just started his lap. Let's see who else is near the end of their lap. Anyone near the end of their lap? Who is Simon is
who has invalidated his lap, so he will have to go again. There's a Haas in sector 3. Is that Morris? Yeah, he's starting his lap as well.
Let's have a look then who's about to finish. Well, here he comes. 140.1 was going to be Quintin's time there as he crosses the line. But let's see what happens here then. On this one, he goes a little bit wide and again may validate, but no, keeps it in on the lap there. But yeah, it's a really hard circuit in the rain. It'd be interesting to know what happens if it's a wet race or not, because that's interesting. What would you do in these circumstances if it was a wet qualifying but a dry race? Would you put your dry setup on now, or would you just keep it as a wet setup, or half and half?
So I'm not sure if people are taking notes because I'm not a pro, but what I did, that's exactly what happened, James, in the GP4 race. It was a wet qualifying but a dry race, so I actually put a dry setup on, and I just increased my front wing by 1 or 2 clicks, because the points are for the race and not for the dries, and especially since everyone would be on a one stop because you have tire choice in such conditions. I wanted to ensure that my race pace is better than my quali pace. And frankly, yes, the setup does matter in these conditions, but it's more about how confident you are, in these wet conditions, and how willing you are to push the track, push the car, and hope that it sticks. So yeah, I would definitely go for a dry setup if it was a dry race, but we don't know that yet, so it will be fun to see, and I expect a lot of different strategies as well if it is indeed a dry race, because we'll see probably all 3 tire compounds being used for the 28 laps, 27 laps.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting, as we just saw Nadeem there go a 36.888, so he's the quickest on track right now. But yeah, as you're rightly saying, it will be very interesting. As I'm not really a racer, but when I race and it's like wet qualifying, dry race, you always want to change your setup, keep it as a dry setup, but change it a tiny bit just to get it so it's comfortable with the wet conditions. So that's what I think everyone's going to try and do here. Maybe tweak it a tiny bit of your setup, but it will still be good enough for dry conditions as well if it is. But we don't know. These times could be the wet times where going into the race on the wet tyres. So if it is the case, some drivers will be going on the tyres they start on them, which will be intermediates, and they'll be doing about 2 or 3 laps on them, or I presume. So we'll have to wait and see there. Still got drivers haven't finished a lap yet. Cassidy's about to finish a lap. Nelly's about to start a lap. He's just started it. So let's see what Cassidy can do. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting around here. Still, as we said a minute ago as well, have a championship battle on our hands between Omegs and Nelly. Nelly has to outscore Omegs today to get closer to that. And Mackett today, if you can see where he is, he's currently P... Is he here tonight? Yes, he is. P number 8. He will hopefully just have to beat Nelly by 10 points tonight, and he can get P2 in the championship. So it's a battle on our hands tonight in the championship here, with, just to say, after today only having 4 rounds to go, so it's all still up for grabs.
It is the crunch time of the championship, and
yeah,
I think this is the point where drivers are not just looking or rather planning for the race. They're planning for the next 3 or 4 rounds ahead, so they are thinking probably long term. And if there is a battle to be fought, they probably don't want to put too much on the line and take a lot of risks, because they know one mistake here or there can prove very costly, because there's not enough time to claw back those lost points.
Indeed, and it's like you can't at this late stage in season. Yes, okay, at the start of the season you can drop some points and drop scores and stuff, but it's a bit late to do that now. So just wanting to do the actual times you get, it's what we need, I think. But yeah, as always, Mansell just sets a great time there with 36.788 and goes P number 2. Nadeem did set another lap there and go quicker, which was a 36.59.5996. I think that is there. Yes, it is. He did. Let's see what he can. He's coming into the pits now, so he's done his laps on them tyres. But yeah, very interesting from the drivers here. Would you? Because it looks like it's drying up. Here it does on my screen. It looks like we have.
Like it's drying up.
It does. Oh, Nelly's retired.
Where is that? That's Omex passing him just. Yeah, I think he just passed him. So Nelly is.
I didn't see that. I'm gonna have to go.
Exit of the hairpin there, and there's a Haas approaching. Let me see if I can.
Who's the Haas? Mansell. Here we go.
On board with Mansell, and
it's up here.
The car just disappeared, but yeah, that's at the exit. So this section, James, in the dry, you obviously are flat out, but in the wets, even on 5th gear, I don't think I have the confidence in the car to go flat out, or maybe in the 6th. So you have to be just a little bit patient before you can, put 100% throttle. And not sure if that was the reason why he has retired, but this probably is going to cost him, because it looks like it's going to dry, and I don't see any rain falling right now, so it's just a matter of track drying up enough for those slick tires. And with 6.5 minutes to go, this definitely looks like we will be seeing times on those dry tires right now.
Yeah, if it's anything like what happened at the weekend, I mean, I know it's different kind of sport, but in different kind of motorsport, but MotoGP, they were at the Bugatti Le Mans circuit. And basically what happened there was they had wet circuit when they came out and did the first ones in qualifying, like in it was kind of a wet track in Q1 for the guys who get into the kind of super top 10 or 11, and then afterwards it dried up really quickly that all the guys were coming out on the softer tyres. So it could be the same at this circuit, lots of very quick and water here, but we'll have to wait and see who's going to be first out on circuit. But it still looks a lot of spray though coming up, so I don't feel like we will. We have a yellow flag in sector 3 right now. That's been put away now, it has, so something happened there with somebody going a little bit wide probably. But yeah, it is, as we say, a very interesting circuit, this one. It's one of the circuits where any small little margin, you can win or lose it. The worst place to do it is at the in the S's. That is, I don't like the S's. I'm awful at the S's. Even in the dry, I'm probably in like 4th or 5th. I think I'm in 4th gear doing them.
Let's say I'm in 4th usually, obviously in the race pace, but in quali I'm in 5th. As Omex goes fastest to the 26.2, so the dry period is still not upon us, as Nadeem is exiting on a set of intermediates as well.
Yeah, so I think it may be intermediate weather then for the qualifying. We'll have to wait and see what happens here in the race, what that's going to be with 4 minutes and 36 seconds to go we have here. But it's interesting. As we see, anyone who's on a lap right now who's actually not invalidated their lap right now. Let's see if what James is all the ones who are on a lap have invalidated, so that's good to see. Calvin Robb hasn't, but he's just slowing down. I think it's an in lap for him right now. But yeah, it's very interesting to see what happens tonight for everyone who is here. It's going to be everyone for himself. You've got so many things to happen. So you've got constructors constructors still up for grabs. There's still enough points in constructors to get that not sorted tonight. Still enough in your driver championship as well for battles throughout that as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. As we'll take a lap. We will on board with a car right now. We'll take a lap on board. Hopefully Quintin. Well, with Quintin who go through corner 1 now, but. You look on board with Quintin here, looks like it's... Oh, Quintin's gone wide. That could mean it's drying.
It is drying, James, and this is a little bit like the lottery here. The drivers who are in the pits might be watching onboards of other people, and it's still spraying. The car is still spraying water from those tires, but it is drying up. And I think, especially for people who are not in a great qualifying position right now, maybe it's worth a shot to maybe do a quali run on those dry tires, because James, I believe this is a circuit where overtaking is difficult, and
It is.
even if you're able to get a run on those medium tires, which might be faster than the intermediates for sure, you could start on the mediums and then you will probably have a strategy advantage as well, and or rather you will not be at a strategy disadvantage as compared to other drivers around.
Yeah, and we do, just to say, we do have some reserves here tonight, which are, of course, Simon Palmer and TCF Old Boy. They're the two reserves tonight. Other than that, everyone else is in the actual league who are here tonight. So, yeah, as Mackett goes quite wide there in the S's, but keeps it going, though, and actually it hasn't invalidated, which is good to see.
They're not improving, James. None of them are improving their time, so it
could be.
Seems like if someone goes out right now on the out lap, they could put a lap on the dries and get away with it and probably get good track position. Let me just see if people have no one on the dries. That's a little interesting to see. There are still a couple of cars in the pits. Let's see if they go on the dries, because it definitely looks pretty dry to me right now.
It does, but the only thing they're looking at probably is there's still spray coming up, and that will just be the one thing that goes not dries for now. But we do still have, by the way, that is it now, by the way, that is it. So no drive. If you come out now, you won't make it to the line. So if you are physically coming out of the pits now, so you have from, normally it's about 1:45 to get around and actually complete the lap. So here, but let's see what Mackett does here. He's nearly at the end of the lap here. I think Morris just completed a quick, Luke Bailey just completed a quick lap there, quicker lap there. Yes, he did, a 1:37.1. Mackett to the line then, and he sets a 1:40.8, 3.9 seconds slower than his quickest. There it was. Magna is on a lap, but he's gone off and at the hairpin, and probably it for him tonight. Anyone else that you see?
Those are screaming, James. Those inters will be really hot right now in terms of their tire temperature. And as Nadeem has gone 1/10 quicker in the first sector.
He has. I'll let you do that. I'll look at Nadeem. Keep Nadeem on the screen. I'll be back in 1 second.
Yeah, he approaches the hairpin now, and let's see his exit if it's good. It is good, and he deploys the full power now. Let's see how he negotiates spoon, because this is an important corner, because then the next braking point is into the chicane. He goes down to the 5th gear there, uses a lot of curb on the exit on the right, and now then gets the car as he almost loses it. But still, let's see if he's going to gain time in sector 2 here, or has he lost time. So he approaches the split for sector 2 on the top right. He has lost 2/10 there, and not really sure if he'll be able to challenge Omex for the pole position here, but I think he will still complete his lap nonetheless. There's no harm in trying there. As through the final corner comes Naveen, he's still fighting his car through the line, and that has not been an improvement. He is down by almost 3/10. And let's see if anyone else is on a lap right now. Kevin Robin, the Red Bull, is on a lap, but he has retired as well. So I believe that would be that, James, as far as the grid positions for the race are concerned. And if the race is indeed dry, then everyone will have free tire choice for the 50% race.
Hello?
Yep, James, welcome back.
Yep. Quinty just invalidated, so he won't be completing his lap. What about Magna? No, he's invalidated as well. So I think that's qualifying over.
I believe it is.
So that means that it's going to be Omegs leading Nadeem. So Omegs first, Nadeem second, Rob third, and Mansell fourth.
Yeah, that is going to be the first 2 rows on the grid. and I'm really excited for this one since we will see people on the softs as well, because softs to hards or even softs to mediums is possible here. Especially there's the soft tires will not be those who would be used in quali, so expect to see different tire strategies and a good race on the cards.
Yeah, let's see a good race on the cards as well. Hopefully we can do. Just to say as well, by the way, before we do go into the race right now, as qualifying has just finished, there it has. It's advantage Omegs in the championship standings right now. Omegs is taking pole position with a 36, 136.297, 2 well, pretty much 3 temps ahead of Nadeem. Then it's Cowan, Rob, Mansell, Mackett in 5th, 6th Cobalt, 7th Luke Bailey, Quintin in 8th, 9th Morris Pace, and 2nd in the championship has had not the best of qualifyings down in P10 for M. Vinelli. Then it's Cassidy, Simon Palmer, who's here for today's round, James, Old Boy, and Magna here tonight are your cars. But yeah, as I said, Omegs leads the championship, and 2nd is Nelly, 10 points, well, 9 points behind, but starts in 10th tonight. Do you think he can do something tonight, or do you think it's advantage Omegs at the moment?
It is advantage Omegs because it's not a very long run down to turn 1, and we know when Omegs gets into the zone, he is able to lead races and convert those positions into race wins. But you never know, a safety car here or there could really spice things up, and it does depend on the start, this one, because start is quite important here. So let's see if Mackett, was it in P10, can actually climb a few positions. Envinelli in P10 can climb a few positions off the start. That would really help his race. It's overcast, James, so seems like at least the race start will be dry. Not sure what happens later on.
Yes, they are. It is going to be dry. That's going to be very interesting. This is here to see what happens with setup wise, because some of the drivers may have gone for wet setups for the qualifying. Some may have just gone for full dry setup, a little bit of change in the setup. I mean, but it's going to be interesting. Will we see more on softs in this race, knowing there might be rain later, or will we see hards and mediums, knowing there won't be any rain later? We'll have to wait and see in about 8 seconds time. But it's very interesting. Then it will be here. We've had about 5 or 6 drivers readied up. The rest are just now going to be readied up. Let's see then as the lights come on, and away we go for the formation lap, and it is very interesting right now. So everybody's on softs except Cassidy, Old Boy, and Magna all on the mediums. So maybe the guys on the softs know it's going to be a very quick bit of non-rain and then rain again, or maybe just softs are quicker and can last.
Softs obviously off the start, and as I said, softs to mediums is possible on this track, so people are expecting to get good track position, or rather not lose any positions, and then take advantage of that undercut, so to say, with respect to those medium runners, and take it from there. But yeah, rain could be a factor. It is overcast right now. We will have to see. We'll watch the weather, if it gets more gloomy, or if there are raindrops as the race progresses. So it should be fun.
We should indeed. Just to say, the game did say that it was soft to medium, or soft to hard, or soft or medium to hard, and the game did say, if you take the games to account here, probably shouldn't, but if you do take the game to account with the strategy, lap 10 if you're on the softs you need to get off them, and lap 13 you need to get off the mediums, is what the game is saying. So drivers know what they do, though. They know better than the game does what they should do, but roughly the game is right. The game is most of the time. But yeah, as we say, Omegs in P1 here tonight, and his closest rival in the championship is in P10. Third in the championship though is in P5, so it's a very jumbled up grid. This it always is in GP2. Never get in GP2 the top. Well, you do see it, but hardly see the top 3 always at the top. But it's just what people's preferences are. Like for you, for example, you can beat me. You like this circuit, one of your favourites, say, and maybe Omeg likes this circuit and Nelly doesn't. So
yeah, could be, because I think that's where it comes down to, because I think the pace level of these guys is so close in terms of raw pace. I think the more hard work you put in, if these guys do practice a lot, I'm sure, and it as you said, it is a matter of preference. So I think someone likes a circuit more, they have either practiced more or they're just naturally good at it. That also counts. And Otherwise, it's just little. So the closer the field is in terms of raw pace, the costlier your mistakes are as well. So if you make a couple of mistakes here or there and Collie are not able to get a clean lap in, that could ruin those 18 minutes of your session. But you still have 27 laps to go, where there is plenty of opportunities to make up for that.
This is interesting. Just on board with Omegs right now, and there's 3 spots of rain on the camera here, on the camera above his thing. So we are looking like 1 lap. Well, the rain's gone now, but it could be 1 or 2 laps, and then we see it rain here. As the lights are now on at the line here. Sorry you can't see them right now, but they are on. For 27 laps we are here. And we're green, and away we go for the shortest race this will be with dries on, because the rain was coming down a couple of seconds ago at the end of the formation lap. As they break now, they do. It is Omegs leading away here. Anyone making a bad start at the start here, the only person is Simon. He's dropped about 2 or 3 positions there, but everyone else keeps it clean at the start here. It's still Omegs leading Nadeem as we go into corner the S's now. We do. Mackett stays 3rd and Rob stays 4th. Very clean for the top 4.
Very clean indeed, and Nadeem got a brilliant start as compared to Omegs. I'm not sure what happened in turn 1. I was spectating other drivers, but Nadeem, it looked like he had the pace and had the challenge and the momentum to probably overtake Omegs at the start, but just thought better of it because it is risky here. Turn 1, it's not a hard braking zone, and that could be one of the factors why he didn't really go forward. The move is behind. I think Luke Bailey and Maurice Pace are battling here, and Luke Bailey has just got the move done on the last driver.
Indeed, and as you said in qualifying, Nelly needed a good start. Already gained a couple of positions here, up to P number 7 he is now, and already on the back of Cobalt as well.
There as the Red Bull goes wide of Omar there, and he's probably going to drop to dead last there. Yeah, there he is.
Wow, if it is what the game was saying, if it was raining, it was raining when we came to the line, so maybe on lap 2 or 3 we might see rain come down and we may have the rest of the race wet here on this circuit, but who knows, as Omeg sets the quickest lap, as you surely will do, because of the qualifying here it is. But just getting the drivers back to where they need to be on the grid. Here we are for a second. Just
that's the glitch which will probably carry on for a few seconds, so bear with us until that is corrected by itself. That Omegs is very well leading the race and not Kevin Robb.
Yes, Omegs is leading, but second is Nadeem, third is Mackett here. Just looking on board Omegs, here we are, as we take a quick look on board with him. It's not raining now, but when we finished the formation lap, you guys saw it on stream hopefully, there was 3 spots on our television camera, which is TV pod. There was 3 spots of rain on there.
James, so I would like to interrupt you here. Go on board with Mansell, because I think what's probably troubling in terms of visibility is the livery, the white livery of Omegs Williams. So just go on board on the Haas of Mansell, and you will
it's now
see
raining.
Yeah, it is raining. It is. You can see definite spots on the rain. So that's just a contrast which is coming into picture. But it has started raining, and Nelly, what a start from him, from P10 to P6, and he's already challenging Mansell here. Probably not into this braking zone, but if he keeps up his pace for a lap or 2 more, he will definitely be giving a lot of headache to Mansell for P5.
Well, it is raining then, so we don't know how heavy this is going to be then on circuit here. And just to say as well, by the way, as Nadeem sets fastest lap, so Nelly sets fastest lap there, 1:30.962, I think that was. There you go. The cameras around the circuit are picking up the rain as well now. But what we're going to say is, I think everyone will wait here and see who's going to be the first to come into the pits, get that tyre on. If it gets heavier than it looks like it is. The rain could just come down though and be just dry enough to have the dry tyre stay on, and that sometimes is the case around this circuit. As there you go, you can see it on the circuit now, the drops of rain splashing onto the circuit. We are fully wet right now. If you're at the circuit, it would be a yellow and red check like lines on the flag. It would just to say it's wet weather right now. But
absolutely, and James, I don't think this is going to stay dry for quite soon, because the intensity of the rain has increased since the formation lap. So we could be seeing a couple of drivers trying to gamble on the intermediate, as Maurice Pace is going down the inside of Luke Bailey. So these guys battled on the first lap. Maurice Pace has taken that place back, and Luke Bailey probably will lose another position to Quinton in the McLaren.
he might do here. Just to say, biggest gainer is Nadeem up 4. Then it's James and Old Boy up 3. Biggest losers is the only one I'm going to say is Cobalt, who is down. They're in position. Just Nelly side by side with Mansell into the last corner. What's going to happen here? Is it going to be the same? They're still side by side as they come to the line now. They're still side by side as they cross the line. This is great from Nelly here, and he's done it. Nelly's through with DRS.
He has the DRS in these slightly wet conditions, as Quinton is past Luke Bailey as well. So Luke losing 2 positions there from his start, and let's see how it goes, because James behind is also catching him.
He is. Would you oh, Mansell's gone off. That could be that it's too wet the circuit here, and he's just lost a bit of time in the S's there. As you can see, there is a lot of water. There is about 6 or 7 spots on the camera here that we're watching on the TV cam. But yeah, it could be that problem here, that maybe in a lap or 2 time DRS will be disabled and we will get wet weather. But haven't yet. DRS is still enabled as we speak, so anything can happen here. It can, but already an 8/10 gap, an 0.8, sorry, the gap is between Nadeem and Omegs at the front.
There's a huge battle at the for P8 right now. James, as Luke Bailey is fighting James, and with Old Boy and Simon Palmer, the 2 reserves, are also keen to get into the mix. So this is going to be a little interesting going into the final corner, the final chicane. I don't think drivers will be making any risky moves there, but there could definitely be some overtaking on the cars on the main straight where DRS is still enabled, and Old Boy almost had lost control of his car, and they are having to lift off James at 130R, so they are not going flat out right now.
No, that I saw that from on board with James there. It's not flat out. Oh, into the pits comes Mansell. This could be an early call here from him. What's he going to try here then, Mansell? Let's go on board with him for a second. I know this is not a battle for any position or something, but let's just check, because if DRS is disabled, I mean, it could be. He's on the inters. I think it's a bit early still to put on inters, but we'll have to wait and see what the game says in a second, because he could literally come out the pits here and then the game say DRS disabled. It hasn't.
Possible. And let's monitor his gap to Cobalt. It's 21.56 seconds right now, so we'll probably see in a couple of sectors or maybe a lap to see how wet it is and how the winters are working. But it has definitely gotten wetter, but yeah, I agree with you. Running on board with these people, it still doesn't seem quite wet enough for intermediate tires. But I think they have to pit now, because if they pit any later, they are going to lose a lot of time. As what has happened to Magna there? He lost a position to Cobalt. So Cobalt is up into P13 now. Well, and while he has lost a lot of positions, he is still in the race, because the gap or the time he has lost is not a lot. So let's see if he can claw his way back into some points.
Well, as I say, it still looks dry off T-Cam.
Omex pits, Nadeem pits. So I think this is the time where the drivers have had enough, as the top 5 pit. Morris pits as well. So does.
Yep, there you go.
Very busy. It is going to be very busy pit lane.
Well, just came on my screen as we're on board with Old Boy as he turned out the last corner. DRS is disabled. So here it's time as all the drivers now come into the pits and swap tyres.
Cassidy has stayed out, and he's the only racing point, so I don't think he has stayed out for his teammate to get a change of tyres, but he has stayed out on those wets, and oh my god, he's going to lose a lot of positions.
Maybe he stayed out because of the pit lane being crazily busy, maybe,
but I think it was still, he would be dead last right now if he came out, so I'm not sure whether he's going to gain anything from there, unless there's a safety car is following Mansell, and he has gained a lot of time. If you see, we were going to monitor his gap to Cobalt there, and Cobalt has now pitted, so he has jumped Cobalt, but he was a pit stop behind Cobalt right now before Cobalt pitted, so that's probably a good decision by Mansell to pit, because he was clearly struggling, as Cassidy has already been overtaken by Omex, and he's going to be overtaken by Nadeem, I think, at the exit of the Spoon corner.
I think he will do. No, yeah, he's been overtaken as well now by him. We're on board though, looking at Mansell's battle, which is the closest on circuit now. It is with Luke Bailey, who's actually on the right tyre. See, there it is. You can see it now. Look, ladies and gentlemen, who are watching this right now. Spray is coming up from the cars here. What would have you done then if you knew, say for example, that the first 25% would be wet, dry? Would have you gone for a little bit of a dry setup, or would you just gone full wet setup, knowing the rest of it?
Oh, then it changes things. If I knew that most of the race is going to be wet, then I would definitely have probably gone for a wet setup, because then it gets me track position in qualifying as well. So it would have definitely changed my decision if I knew if most of the race is going to be wet. So, and I think that explains the decision why most of these drivers went on a set of soft tires, because they knew it wouldn't be long before they have to pit for inters anyway. So why use those medium tires which would be slow at the start?
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, but yeah, as you can see, it really is raining now, so it is wet. There's a little mistake there. Looks like from Luke Bailey, and here comes Mansell closing in on him. Would you think they would have like a couple of sets of intermediates then before they use their set they use for qualifying, or is that qualifying set just gone now and they've got fresh sets?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. That's exactly what I was thinking, because I think they have only 3 sets of intermediate tires for the weekend. So I am really curious to see how they have managed their qualifying, because if they knew they were going to use intermediates for the race, they might not have used more than just 1 set of intermediates for the qualifying session, because these are very durable tires, but at the same time they are not really worn out that much in qualifying, but absolutely in the race when they have to do multiple laps on heavier fuel, they would start wearing out a little bit quicker than they would in qualifying. So I think that's something you cannot change. That's just how the game allocates tires. So you have only 3 intermediate tires for the entire weekend. So there could be a possibility here, James, that we might see, although we will not get to see it on stream here, but there might be people who are on worn intermediates. If it stays intermediate for the entire race, they have to make another pit stop. And
it will indeed.
That's where those worn tires come into play. But the way the rain is increasing, I would not put it past this track or this weather to bring on the full wet tires as well. Billy goes wide again there, and here is Mansell looking very keen, and on a track which is so hard to overtake, Mansell does take that position. So good move from him into P8, and he begins his charge for Quinton now.
He does, but yeah, as you're rightly saying, I think it was every driver has 1 set of intermediates, because I know in qualifying about 3 or 4 of the drivers who are out here on circuit did use 2 sets of intermediates. So it is something that has to be said here. 2 or 3 drivers did use 2 sets, so it's interesting. And yeah, as you look on board with Mansell right now, who is closing rapidly in on Quinton, he is here. He of course as well does have it is looking a lot heavier rain here as we head up the field a tiny bit here, because it is there is a gap which is close, which is Nadim and Mackett here, which is fluctuating between 8 and 9 tenths, I think we're going to say here, and that's battle as well. But as you can see, it's bigger spray than it was in qualifying. So
Absolutely. So that's, I think it wouldn't be, I mean, if it keeps raining like this, it's fine, but if it gets any heavier, drivers might be willing to go on those full wet tires, because especially this track, you need to be, I mean any track rather, but especially this track, because traction is key here, especially through some of those slower corners as well as fast corners, because if you just put a little bit more of a throttle or something like that, you could lose the car entirely. So it is important that your car sticks to the road and you have a good grip of a tire. As someone has gone wide ahead, that's James, and he might lose the position to Old Boy here, as I'm riding on board with Cobalt, and Old Boy has taken the position. So there is there's contact there. There's more contact, and there's James completely round, and that's Cobalt losing his wing, and he's been punted from behind by Simon there. So that is a domino effect, James, and that has ruined the race of 3 drivers.
It has indeed. all because of James going very slowly there. Well, basically, just to give full explanation, I really don't know what happened there. All I was seeing from James is that he made a spin around, and then it was just as you say, just like a domino effect there. But very surprising to see that, because I thought some drivers may slow it down and get out of the way or something. But yeah, as you look on board now with Mackett, who is in P3 still, it is heavier rain, so we could be seeing some full wet soon. But intermediates are going to be the right tyre for now on for this race here. But unlucky for Cobalt and for Simon there, who did just get caught up in the spin that James had and collected him a tiny bit, and both lost a bit of front wing there, they did. So both should be pitting this lap, they should here. But to give credit to Nadeem here, where we should, he is keeping that gap at 3.8 seconds here. He's made it a bit further down now to 3.6. So 3.7, I mean. So it's going down, but not going up. So that's good to see. And for Nelly here, keep an eye on him. 5 positions he's gained. Ooh. Now he's
so
up to
sorry there. That's Cobalt into the pits, and James almost ran into the back of him. He might have some wing damage as Cassidy is trying to make a move on James, who again goes wide into turn 2. That's a problem area for James, it looks like, or if that's wing damage, I'm not really sure. But James,
let's have a look,
is not entirely comfortable in that Mercedes in these wet conditions.
Just having a look now, he doesn't have any wing damage, so maybe the spin just let the other two there maybe a little bit of wing damage. He may have a bit of bodywork. Well, the game doesn't do it, but in real life you may have a bit of bodywork damage on the car, which would have affected the car.
In real life it does, but I think that's not simulated in the game. So he has just about escaped there, but he almost ran into the back of Cobalt, who was diving into the pits, and he almost ran into the pit wall because he was staying close to Cobalt and close to the right of the track instead of the left. But he has gotten away with some really good luck here.
Something's just happened with Nadeem, because it was 9 temps, it's now 5 temps as they come to the line. So something has definitely happened to Nadeem there. Maybe a mistake in the final sector here, because look, it's 0.46 now it is here, and here comes Mackett right on the back of Nadeem now, and they know each other from ASF1 here, they do, but they are really close to each other here, trying ever so hard to get around. Here they are, and something must have happened to Nadeem. Maybe made a little tiny mistake, gone on the grass a tiny bit or something, because Mackett's all over him now.
Yeah, he seems to have lost a few tenths to Mackett there, and as you said, that could be a small mistake he might have made, because I think the front wing is still intact for the Alpha Tauri, so Nadeem might as well still keep that position because of how hard it is to overtake around here. And I'm following the battle behind for P9 right now, James, and it's Old Boy who has been stuck behind Luke Bailey for quite a few laps now. He's not able to make his move, and I'm just thinking, so if you ride on board with these guys, James, do you think it's wet enough for full wets right now, or would you still want to stick it out on those intermediates?
I still think it's intermediate weather for a little bit longer here.
Oh, Luke goes so deep there, and that might just give the position to Old Boy here. And let's see how these guys navigate this corner, because it is where, was it Nelly who DNF'd? I think, yeah, it was Nelly who retired in the quali session in similar conditions, although a lot less wetter. But that is Old Boy into P9, and he would be now hoping to catch Mansell, who hasn't really been able to make an impression on Quinton so far.
He hasn't, and yeah, you were right when you were saying about the corner he crashed in. It was the corner called 200R he crashed in. He did. So I didn't even know it was called 200R. I looked it up before we did it last season at this circuit, and apparently the corner after the hairpin is called 200R, which I didn't expect. As Luke Bailey.
So it's very convenient to name corners depending on the radius. That's just not original at all. But either ways, Luke Bailey is still trying to get a position back from Old Boy, and seems like Nadeem has weathered off the storm, which Mackett give him a little bit of a scare because of Nadeem's mistake. But the gap is now back to that gap we were seeing earlier of +1 or 8 or 9 tenths of a second.
Just let us know in the comments, guys, if you are watching here, as we have a spin in the last corner and in the last sector, and off goes Cobalt into the wall. Back on he comes now though. Luckily Simon, oh, he nearly clipped Simon there. Simon nearly clipped him, I mean, but because he was ghosted, Simon went through him. Just let us know in the comments, guys, if you think it's wet enough for full wets yet or not. Let us know here tonight, because I don't think it is, but if you guys, if you are watching this and you want to let us your opinions, then feel free. As Cobalt retired from session into the pits, could have got out some decent stuff, not points, but decent finish there if he carried on. But Mackett here is now only 6 tenths behind Nadeem. It's the last sector where Nadeem struggles, it seems like. Mackett, all the rest of the lap isn't quick. They're not quick in the rest of the laps here, but Nadeem, I bet you, struggles in the last sector.
Yeah, he is struggling a bit in the last sector, and I was hoping to see more of Cobalt here, because maybe I thought he would be wanting to gamble on those full wet tires. But you're right, James, it still doesn't look wet enough for full wets, and if intermediates and full wets are giving you the same kind of performance, or if you feel they will give you the same performance pace wise, you would really not want to fiddle with your current tire right now, because if you're comfortable with it, don't fix it if it's not broken.
Yep, that is true, but somebody may just be a test guinea pig for the guys here and go, I will just come into the pits in a second and pop on some full wets and see what it's like. But you can definitely see from the surface water there as they come out of the 2 Lesmos, I think they're called there, and on, yeah,
Degnus, they're called Degnus.
Yeah, Degnus, sorry, what am I, there, and going under the bridge, you could going under the bridge / circuit, you can clearly see the water coming down even heavier than it normally is, and just looking off board here when we go into Spoon, it is wet as well here. So there may be a guinea pig, one of the drivers here tonight, who may not even be winning this race, or maybe knowing, oh, I won't get a point finish, I could pop on some full wets, see what it's like for a little bit of a race and see what it's like. Maybe that could happen, who knows though. We'll have to wait and see. But it is, as you can see here, Mackett is 7 seconds slower than his dry tyre fastest lap. So that is telling you that it is definitely intermediate weather, but is it full wet weather yet? And just to say as well, by the way, the game has just said that if you started on full wets on lap number 3, or whenever the full wets came, whenever the intermediates came out, by the way, the game says you should pit again now for some more intermediates. So
yeah, that's the strategy option which is given by game. So let's see if these guys, I mean, I'm not sure about the tire wear for intermediate tires, but I think so they have 7 laps right now, so that would make it 20 laps on the intermediate tires, which I don't think is that crazy to believe if they do have 20 laps on those intermediates at the end of the race. So
interesting.
James is into the pits.
Yes, we'll see. He has a penalty. That's probably why he's serving right now in the pits. Let's just check. No, back of intermediates. Another 7 intermediates coming on here for James. Just to say though, let me take you very quickly through this. I know I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm going to do it. Mackett 1:39.1 and 1:39.4 are your quickest. Are his last 2 laps here. Nadeem 1:39.5, 1:39.7. So last lap he was a 1:39.7 and Mackett was a 1:39.4. So somewhere Nadeem is losing 3 tenths a lap to Mackett. Their last lap he lost 3 tenths.
And I think James Mackett can go even faster if he's in clean air. So he's he's stuck behind Nadeem, it seems like right now, and he's just not that getting a clear opportunity. There's a Mercedes, it's not James. It is James in sector 1 who has spun his car, and I don't think there's any damage, but he is back on his way, and he might be overtaken by, he's a bit far enough to be overtaken by Simon there.
As you can see right now, look, Mackett is closing. Let's see what Mackett can do then here as he heads into the first corner. Nothing to do there for Mackett. Then into the S's now they turn, and Mackett here is only 5 tenths behind here. He is closing in rapidly here. This battle is going to go on all race, hope may do here, but Nadeem is doing a great job. That's all I can say at keeping him behind him. But Mackett for the last 2 laps, well, last lap anyway, was quicker. So it begs the difference here. It does of what's going to happen. The rain looks like it has slowed a tiny bit, so it looks like it is. Out of the Degners and underneath the bridge, like it's going to be just intermediates for the rest of the race here, but Mackett knows that Nadeem just keeping it in the line they need to, and yeah, it's very interesting.
It is, and James, if these guys are thinking of a two-stop right now, Mackett could be thinking of an undercut as well, because or an overcut, because that's. It seems like right now Nadeem is not making too many mistakes except the one which he thought he made. So Mackett's only chance right now could be overtaking Nadeem either through an undercut or an overcut. So let's see how he approaches this battle. Credits to Nadeem, he is keeping Mackett behind for it's like 10 more than 10 laps right now. So these two have been locked in a battle. And further behind the progress on Mansell, he has lost pace, lost time to Quinton, and it's Old Boy who has caught him like anything. So let's see what Old Boy, our reserve tonight, can do. Mansell into the pits.
Yeah, let's see what can happen here then. We're going to just have a look at Mackett very quickly, but back we go to Old Boy here, who is dropped it a bit off Quintin here.
It's interesting, James. Mansell is on the full wet tyres.
We'll have to wait and see then if this is going to be quicker or not, but it is looking on. That's weird then. I'm going to be honest and say that, because start line looks really wet, right? Go to Omegs right now as he heads down to Spoon Curve, and it looks intermediate weather.
Yeah, it is a tricky one, and this is the gap I'm really concerned about right now. It's Mansell to Cassidy, and it's 5.1 right now, and it is decreasing, James. So, wet tires seems to be maybe the faster tires right now, but we don't know if this is a gamble worth taking.
Well, we'll have to wait and see here if anything's going to happen or not. Because I don't think anything will at the moment, but we'll wait and see if any other cars will come in or not. Let's go and have a look at lap times though. Not this lap. This lap doesn't count for Mansell. It'll be next lap we'll check on Mansell's time as we head on board with him now. But he is just looking really quick around here. He is. Oh, into the pits comes Morris Pace. Let's see what Morris can do here. Is he coming onto the intermediates off the inters onto inters or inters onto wets?
I think it's going to be a full wet tires.
Let's have a look. Yes, it is.
It is full wets.
It's the cutover point now. You don't. It's interesting because you can stay on the inters because they'll be fine, but we'll be really hot and losing lots of temperature and everything. Or do you want to come into the pits right now and put on full wets and actually gain time? But when you look at the circuit where Omegs is on the off-board cameras here, on the broadcast camera, it looks dry enough for inters. We'll have to wait and see though with what's happening here with Mansell. As this lap here, Mansell's going to complete this lap. I will keep an eye on what his lap time is here for you compared to your leader, who is Omegs, for you. But the gap was 5.2 when he came in at the start of the lap, and about just started his next lap he has 4.2.
Yeah, that's a considerable margin. So he has gained about a second there, or just less than a second in this last lap. So I think as he gets comfortable on the tires, and those tires have temperature as well going around the circuit, they are only going to get faster here. So seems like the forecast is that these are the conditions throughout the race. So oh, that's a mistake from Nadeem. Oh, he's into the pits. My bad. He's into the pits as is Kevin Robb, and Nadeem is going on a set of full wets here.
Well, we're going to have a look and see what the time is then. So from your leader lap, this lap just gone, just to say, Omegs has done a 41.022, right? Have we seen a lap on the board yet? No, we haven't. Mansell hasn't crossed the line yet, so we'll keep an eye on Mansell for a second here, we will. As we'll go on board with him now, actually.
This is interesting.
So it's a 40...
Because Kevin Robb has... Yeah, go on.
It's a 41.1 to 42.7. So Mansell may be slower than Omeg still on the wetter tyres here. We'll keep an eye on Morris Pace though, because he was the first one to come in, and Nadeem. They've decided it is wet enough for wets. But Omeg's probably knows his strategy here. Is the only one is staying out on the inters.
It's Kevin Robb who has pitted on another set of inters, so that is really interesting. I don't think anyone else has done that. So he has pitted behind Nadeem, and he has not changed the tire compound, so he's still on another set of intermediate tires. And it is really interesting, this one, because for me, when I look on board on some sections of the track, it looks wet enough for full wet tires, but on the other sections of the track it looks like it is only intermediates and not full wets. Mackett into the pits, James. So this is going to be a pit stop battle as Mackett gets a 5-second penalty for speeding, and that has completely undone all the hard work he might have done on that in lap, and he goes on a set of intermediate tires. Let's see where Nadeem is in comparison, and it looks like Nadeem is going to stay ahead of Mansell here, James. So is Kevin Robb. Is Kevin Robb going to come out ahead of Mansell?
No, he's not. So let's just see then what's going to happen here.
So Mackett and Kevin Robb both have come out on another set of intermediates, and if I'm riding on board right now, James, it definitely looks full wet. And Omegs and Nelly are.
Indeed, it looks like they are, as Omeg's now. Let's see what Omegs is doing here. Is he going to pit this lap or not? It'll be silly.
Losing your white a little bit as Omegs is coming in.
Pardon?
You're losing your
better.
He is. Yeah, that's better. But
Yeah,
Omegs is in for.
Oh, James is out.
James is retired. That's into the pits, I believe. So.
No, it's not. He's not in the pits. So, oh, it's a safety car. Where did James retire then? On board is Simon. Now we are. Oh, where was it? It looks like it's
in sector 1.
Yeah, it looks like it's exiting the S's. Well, I never. We're going on board with Simon now. I'll tell you where it. There, where my thing is there. Sorry if you can see this thing on the screen. Sorry, we have a bit of internet problems right now, so just bear with us. But yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but your voice is breaking up a little bit.
Is it? Let me just listen to the stream. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but your voice is breaking up.
Oh, it's a safety car. Well, because we have 7 laps to go, I'm going to hope we can get the stream done before we have to go to part 2, like we did like most have done. So yeah, we'll hope we can do that. I am still here, by the way. Hopefully you can all hear my voice clearly on stream. But it's Nanelli leading, Omeg second, and Nadeem third. Nadeem on the wets at a 44.2 before the safety car came out. So yeah.
James, I'm having real trouble listening to you, or the voice is breaking up as Nelly is into the pits, and he is going to lose a lot of positions here because of that safety car.
He does, yeah. Into the pits comes Nadeem, onto the wet. Nelly, sorry, onto the wets comes Nelly. Does here Nelly is on the wet compound of tyres. Yeah, sorry, the stream is a bit fuzzy right now. We do apologise for that. Hopefully you can still see the cars on the track right now. But yeah, this will be first lap then behind proper safety car. So I'm sorry everybody if the stream is a bit fuzzy right now. It is of course wet weather conditions, so it could be just that you're thinking it is, but it is a little bit fuzzy. I'm sorry if it is. I don't know if you can beats me is here still.
Yeah, so we'll push through it, James, as this is going to be interesting here because Omegs, Nadeem and Simon Palmer are the only people on intermediates, and this gives Nadeem and Nelly a real chance here. If it is indeed wet conditions, it could be out of positions and not a front wing or no damage, but he has lost 5 positions there, and wow, that is a lot of drama, and he will have to work really hard to gain those positions back because it is absolutely pouring down here, James. There is no...
1 second.